All right, well, that season is over. Just got swept by the Celtics, and I've been a little bit quiet on TikTok, but I'm gonna start coming out now because it's the NBA playoffs, and I kind of really want to talk about it. I have a whole notebook here. I wrote a lot of things on every series I talked about. So the first series I want to talk about is one of the series I'm actually really happy for, and I'm actually kind of excited for, other than the Hawks and Heat, is the Timberwolves and Grizzlies. I'm making a bunch of these videos on almost all the series, basically all the series. But yeah, so I want to talk about Anthony Edwards and Ja Morant. I'm not surprised at Anthony Edwards. I've loved Ja and Anthony Edwards. If you know me personally, those two are my favorite basketball players. Those two are top 5 for current favorite basketball players. Maybe in all time. Nah, top 10 for all time. But they're my favorite basketball player. I've loved Ja Morant's game and the way he plays basketball. I've liked him since Murray State, and I've liked Anthony Edwards since his days in Georgia. And I'm not surprised of Anthony Edwards' game. I've always said he's one of the most underrated players in the league. I personally think he's better than LaMelo. LaMelo's a beast, don't get me wrong, but bro, Anthony Edwards is just that man. Anthony Edwards got snubbed for Rookie of the Year. And let's talk about this Minnesota Timberwolves team. I really like the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have one of the most underrated teams. I love the Timberwolves and the Grizzlies. Two underrated teams. What can I say? I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that they made the playoffs, but I'm just kind of sad that they both have to play each other because I like both teams. But let's talk about the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves, their lineup: the point guard D'Lo struggled a little bit at the start of the series, but hey, D'Lo's underrated. I'm gonna say the Timberwolves have been one of the most underrated teams in this whole league. No one's talked about it other than the Miami Heat, but underrated. Y'all forget D'Lo was an all-star not too long ago. What, 2019, 2018? That was 3-4 years ago. Everybody started hopping off the D'Lo train once he got traded to Minnesota. But he's been playing pretty good in Minnesota until now. He's trying to step up, but it's all right. Shooting guard Patrick Beverley, bro. I really like Patrick Beverley. I don't care if he trolls or not. You need that type of basketball mentality. Anyway, he's like the mentality you need in a basketball player. He's a pretty good defender. He's an all-around offensive scorer, but he gets into people's heads, and that's what you need on a basketball player. The power forward V8 Vanderbilt, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good rebounder. I think he's an underrated power forward. Cat. He struggled in the play-ins. He struggled first, second game, but until nice finally finding his rhythm. You gotta remember, this team did not make the playoffs for how many years? I understand it's not an excuse, but they were just the 15th seed. They had the number 1 pick literally not that long ago. The Grizzlies, I'm not surprised they had an amazing season. I knew this was going to happen. I knew Ja Morant was going to be good. They're good with and without Ja Morant. That's how underrated this squad is with Desmond Bane and Ja. The Boston versus Brooklyn series. Now, this series is a pretty good series, but before we talk about it, we have to go to the regular season when, a lot of things happen for Brooklyn. It's crazy how Brooklyn and Lakers, the two teams that were designated to meet each other in the finals, have terrible seasons. Obviously, LA not making the playoffs. And it's not even they didn't make the playoffs. They ended off on a bad term, on a losing streak. But that's not what we're talking about. Brooklyn, they end up as a 7th seed. Unfortunately, they had the Kyrie situation, couldn't play in home games. On top of the fact, they had the randomness of Harden asking for out, and then KD being injured. They trade Harden for Ben Simmons, Drummond, and Curry. That was a finesse of a trade. Then the Ben Simmons situation still happens in Brooklyn, but they're trying to bring a good side to it. Then Kyrie comes back, KD comes back. That team goes on a winning streak. They're playing consistent. They beat the Cavs in the play-ins. They're in the playoffs. First game of the playoffs. Hey, nobody had a bad game. It was a pretty good game. But, Jason Tatum was just that guy, and he had the layup, the game-winning layup because of Marcus Smart, pick and roll. Second game, the Celtics, they weren't playing too good at the first half. The Nets were dominating them. And then the second half, they just came out and beat them. That's kind of crazy. JT clamping up KD whole series. Game 3 comes. Not Harden. KD, I don't know, man. KD, in the post, when they're talking to him after the game, he talked about he was feeling, what's it called? Not forced, but he wasn't prepared. And it's crazy to think Kevin Durant, one of the best scorers we've ever seen touch a basketball, talking about not being prepared. The man who took a team to the finals. The man who almost single-handedly beat Giannis and the Bucks last year. Talking about not being prepared. He had a bad season. He wasn't playing too good. Kyrie didn't play as well either. Bruce Brown actually balled out, and he's been balling out this whole playoff series. Jason Tatum's just that guy, clamps with KD, and drops 36. Today, they played. Oh, yeah, I forgot to announce. Ja Morant won Most Improved Player. But anyways, they play. Boston and the Nets were going back and forth. Obviously, Boston took the dub, sweeping the Nets. It's kind of crazy to think the Nets lost. I mean, KD had a pretty good game. He finally played good. Kyrie had a good game. But Jason Tatum fouled out. But Marcus Smart, I'm saying, for the clamps. Jaylen Brown balling out. Al Horford with the lucky. If Al Horford did not get that rebound, he wouldn't have made that shot. I'm telling you, KD probably would have got it. Hit a 3. But it's all right because it's a lot to learn. Hopefully, Ben Simmons comes back. Hopefully, no more, bull crap with Ben Simmons. And yeah, that's the next season for you. All right, the Miami Heat series. Obviously, I'm going to talk about it before I talk about any other series. So, anyways, Hero, no ifs, no buts, no announcement. 6th man of the year right there. Bam. I don't care if Marcus Smart won it. He is the DPOY. He got snubbed. Disrespectful. Eric Spoelstra should win Coach of the Year. They're obviously not going to give it to him, but he should win it. But let's talk about the postseason. The first game, clamp up Trae Young. We destroyed the Hawks. Every time we play Trae Young, we always clamp him up. No matter what. Either P.A. Tucker or not, we're always going to clamp him up. We're not the type of team he's going to drop 50 on. Now, game 2, we going back and forth. We end up winning, though. Jimmy dropped 45, career high. Bogdanovich, he balled out too. But it's all right. Because we still beat them. And that's what I meant. Game 3, we kind of slumped, though. We were up by 16. We were playing very consistent. We were playing good. And then we just blew the whole lead. Trae Young goes up for the game-winning floater. He does it. And then DeAndre Hunter clamps up Jimmy. I don't know why Jimmy tried hitting a three-pointer. He was in a bad position. If you rewatched the game, the way he shot the 3 was terrible. But I don't know what to say. I immediately just turned off the TV and I went to sleep because I didn't want to talk. I just didn't want to think about what I saw. But it's alright because game 4 we blew them out. Jimmy had a really good game. Bam needs to start playing a little bit more. When Kyle Lowry comes back, hopefully he comes back tomorrow. He plays pretty good. Hero is not having good games either. He should step up. Hopefully second round he steps up when we gotta play either Philadelphia or Toronto. Yeah, so we play them tomorrow. That's an easy dub. No ifs, no buts. We're going to beat the Hawks in at least 5. I hope we have a good series. Hopefully we make it. We went to the finals. Suns and Heat finals. Mark my word. Now, Toronto versus Philly. Just finished watching the game. Toronto forces the game 6. I knew they weren't going to get swept. Can they come back from a 3-0 deficit? Nah, I thought the Nets were. But it's all right. Hey, Toronto having ups and downs. Last year they were terrible. They had to play in Tampa. It's all right, though. They trade Lowry. We get Lowry. They draft Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes was a really good pickup for them. He just won Rookie of the Year. Fred VanVleet became an all-star. Pascal was basically an all-star. They kept the core together. Anunoby playing really good. Gary Trent Jr. was a really good steal. Yeah, so they balled out. But, Embiid might be MVP, maybe not. The scoring champ. He played really good in the regular season. Yeah, them getting James Harden helped them out a lot, though. But not too much, because they're not going to do nothing. If they face us, no matter who they play, second round, it's obviously going to be us. We're beating them. No doubt. But, yeah. So yeah, Embiid, first game, Embiid popped off. Obviously, James Harden popped off. The Raptors, they got, they lost. Second game, second game, again, Embiid and Harden popped off. Mainly Embiid played really good. Harden was just, that player there. Tyrese Maxey also had 2 really good series. Tobias Harris did his role. Game 3, the game winner by Joel Embiid is crazy. OT, 3-pointer. That's crazy. Game 4, Pascal balls out after having a somewhat decent playoff series. He didn't want to get swept, so he balled out. Van Vliet got injured, unfortunately. Scotty Barnes had to deal with some injuries from the previous games, but he still played a little good. Anunoby, the whole series, been playing really good, and then Gary Trent Jr. And today, they just destroyed. Had to recheck. They just won by 15 points. They demolished them. Obviously, Embiid has to play through a little bit of injury, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just a finger injury. If he could play through it, he could play good. He was the leading scorer. You remember D Book last year played with the injury in the finals, and he was still balling. Did they lose? Unfortunately, yes, but they still balled out. Jazz versus Jazz. Now I'm telling you, no ifs, no buts. When the Jazz lose, Donovan Mitchell's requesting out. He's not staying in Utah for that long. When they lose, he's out. He's out. He's requesting out. He's gonna want Rudy Gobert out. Rudy Gobert's gonna want out. Rudy Gobert might get traded to Golden State, maybe even Portland, probably even Charlotte. Who knows? Donovan Mitchell might get traded to the Knicks or the Heat. Who knows? But he's for sure requesting if they lose. But yeah, the game one. It's crazy to think that this team struggled with a team that's playing without their star player. Game one, they kind of struggled. I'm not gonna lie, they kind of struggled. The Mavericks playing good. Jalen Brunson's just balling out. He's balling out. He wants to get paid. He might stay in Dallas. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. Who knows? Game two, the Mavs tie the series 1-1 after the Jazz win. Jalen Brunson balled out again, and they actually beat the Jazz by a lot. A good amount of points for a team that does not have their starting player. Game three, they beat them. Game three, they beat it again, and by a lot this time. To a team that has their starting five that's all healthy, and they're missing their star player. Jalen Brunson is balling out. Dorian Finney-Smith is being a good rebounder. Tim Hardaway Jr. is playing his role. Dwight Powell is playing pretty good. Josh Green is playing his role. And the Jazz have what? Donovan Mitchell, he's balling, but he's not playing good enough. Rudy Gobert did not have a good game either. Game four happens. Game 5 is currently happening right now. I'm going to watch it in a little bit. Game 4 happens. Jordan Clarkson balled out. He played really good. But unfortunately, Luka stole the show at the end, hitting the 3. Everybody thought he sealed it. I thought he sealed it. And then finally, after a long time, Donovan Mitchell finally passes the ball to Rudy Gobert in a playoff series. Hits the lob. They win by 1 point. Game winner. Game when he tries hitting a 3, airballs it. Boom. Now they're playing right now. I think the Mavericks got it in 7, maybe even 6. But it's crazy to think that this team struggled to a team that doesn't have a star player. And when they get their star player back, they win by 1 point. And they had a major lead, which they blew. If Donovan Mitchell did not make that, if he did not pass to Rudy Gobert, that would have been a 3-1 lead right now. Right now, the Mavericks probably could have gentlemen swept them. One of the most disappointing series. And it's kind of a sleeper because they've been kind of boring. So, you already know what's going to happen. The Bulls versus Bucks. Hey, I'm gonna cut some slack for the Bulls. I'm in the playoffs in a fat minute. The only playoff experience is probably DeRozan and Vooch. Caruso maybe. Hey, if Lonzo Ball was healthy, it would be a whole different ball game. I actually had the Bulls coming out the underdogs, and I kind of regret having that. Unfortunately, they had a pretty bad playoff run. Everybody was sleeped. DeMar had one good game, and that's it. Vooch has been balling. Zach LaVine, he's been trying to, but unfortunately, Giannis is that guy. Even though they lost Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton's out for the season. They're still struggling. Giannis right now, best basketball player in the league currently. Better than KD. Better than LeBron. Better than Embiid. Maybe better than Jokic. Better than Curry. KD, right? I don't know. Best basketball player. Will he win MVP? He could probably get his third one. He's playing like a beast right now in the playoffs. But game 1, the Bulls, it was the first game, in a minute, they do get destroyed. But it's all right, Game 2 happens. DeMar does 41. They had a good game, barely won, but hey, a dub's a dub. Game 3, they get demolished by Giannis. Game 4, demolished by Giannis. Jrue Holiday's clamping these people up, having a good season. Bobby Porter's having a good series. Same thing with Grayson Allen. even the bench is having a good series. The only players playing really good in the Bulls is Vooch. Vooch is like Vooch misses that playoff experience with the Magic when he was balling out. So now he has to ball out for this team, and it's kind of crazy to think that this team was the 1 seed for a minute. They dropped down to the 6 seed. Now they're struggling against the Bucks. I understand they haven't beaten a team over 500, but still, like, the least you could do is like put a name for yourself, because I really thought the Bulls had a chance. But like I said, if they had Lonzo Ball, it would have been a whole different ball game. Still, they're a little young. A lot of people are not too experienced with the playoff. They haven't made the playoffs in a fat minute, though. I think the last time they made the playoffs was when Jimmy was on the team, right? It was Jimmy, Rondo, and Wade. Is that the last time they made it? I don't know. But anyways, I think the Bucks gonna take it. The Bucks gonna play Boston. And I think Boston could take Milwaukee. I think Boston's defense is pretty good. I'm almost done. I have 2 more series left, and I'm gonna talk about one of the really good series actually, which I didn't expect this team to take the dub. Is the Nuggets versus the Warriors. I thought the Nuggets were gonna get swept. I'm not gonna lie. The Warriors, after since the 2019 injuries have happened, KD getting injured, making him go to New York, Curry getting injured, Clay getting injured. They won like 15 games in 2020. Then getting the second overall pick, which they draft James Wiseman. Then last year, they could have made the playoffs if Draymond didn't try freaking layupping the ball, and he could at least dunked it, which he tried laying it up, which bounced off the glass, sent it to OT, which the Grizzlies won. Kerr had a good season last year. Then this year, they were playing amazing. Then when the Suns were battling out, then around after All-Star break, Curry got injured, which kind of lowered them from the 2nd seed to the 3rd seed. Clay had a pretty good season. For not playing for 2 years, he had a good season. Jordan Poole had an amazing season. Disrespectful how he did not make top 3 MIP, even though Jonte and Garland had a good season. And John Morant did deserve it. Game 1 happened. Jordan Poole balls out, beats them. Draymond kind of clamped up Jokic second game. Jordan Poole and Curry game. Again, Draymond defended Jokic really good. Then it was a Clay, Curry, and Poole game. Again, Draymond did defend Jokic good, but Jokic is that guy. You gotta remember, he might go back-to-back MVP. Game 4, it was back and forth. Curry and Clay were hitting threes like crazy. It was a Curry and Clay game. They're going. Then, Monte Morris hit the layup. Not the layup, he hit the mid-range. That kind of messed them up. They go up. The Warriors caught timeout. Austin Rivers stole the ball from Andrew Wiggins. Passes it to Will Barton. Will Barton hit the 3. If that never happened, I'm telling you, they would have gone swept. But it's all right, because I think they play tomorrow. I'm sure they play tomorrow. That's going to be easy dub for the Warriors. The Nuggets obviously going to have a big mentality, trying to beat them, not trying to get gentlemen swept. But you got to remember, it's Curry, Clay, Jordan Poole, and Draymond. It's playoff Draymond. If they had James Wiseman, I think it would have been a different story, because right now they're throwing Kevon Looney on Jokic. Because yesterday Draymond he fouled out. But it's all right. Pelican versus Suns. Where I start off with the series. So my boy D-Book went through hamstring injury. And, I thought the Pelicans were either going to swept or gentlemen swept. Take a game. But I'm surprised, they actually took 2 games. They tied the series up. I thought Ingram and CJ were going to ball out. But I didn't think they were going to ball out like this. Now, first game, they're both balling out. Both teams are playing really good. Ingram and CJ had a good game. Valanciunas had a good game. But, Chris Paul balled on the 4th quarter. One of the best 4th quarter players I've ever seen. Also Trae Young, but the Miami Heat clamping him up. I'm just saying. But yeah, Chris Paul balled out. He played his role. He played really good in the 4th quarter. He showed what he can do against his former team that drafted him. D-Book also had a good game. Then game 2, Ingram and CJ ball out. Mainly Ingram. D-Book had to go through some injuries after that dunk. He had a good series though, but unfortunately hamstring. He had a really good game. Game 3, it was an Aiden game. Made them go up 2-1. Mikal Bridges had a good game as well. CP3 obviously. Cam Johnson kind of struggled. He struggled the past 3 games. He even struggled a little bit yesterday. Brandon Ingram played really good. Valanciunas played good. I also like the addition of Jose Alvarado. He's playing amazing defense. He's playing really good, clamping up Chris Paul when he has to. Herb Jones is actually playing really good too. Then yesterday they tied the series up 2-2 after the Suns had a big lead. Ingram is here balling out, and I saw this post about if the book comes out, does Zion have to come back? Because when Zion comes back, this team is gonna be nasty. Ingram is balling his life away. Valanciunas having a good season. Herb Jones having a good season. Jose Alvarado having a good season. CJ's having a good season. Can you imagine seeing with Zion? Because D-Book for sure has to come back. I mean, I hope the Pelicans don't win in 6. I'm saying Suns in 6. But like, if that does happen, is Zion going to come back? And if Zion does come back, what would that happen? Will the Pelicans make the conference finals? Because if you really think about it, Suns versus Mavericks, that would be the Suns, right? Pelicans versus Mavericks right now, it's either Luka or the Mavericks. But if Zion comes back, they're going to make the conference finals. And the Pelicans either got to play the Warriors, Timberwolves, or the Grizzlies. I think they got all 3 of those teams. So can you think about that? Like, if Zion were to come back, if the Pelicans were to win, because even if the Suns were to win, no, they will be any team. But what about the Pelicans? Like I don't even think they deserve to be the 8th seed. I think they deserve to take probably even the Nuggets spot.